courtesy of Jay Swavey.
From fans for the fans.
The best place for league updates.
The hottest takes on the internet. Welcome to Cal's Call.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Cal's Call. I am Joseph Callamore.
And I'm Mickey Flynn.
And welcome to Cal's Call. So today, welcome back, guys. Again, we're going to start doing this every single Saturday, so make sure to look out. We're finally having a set schedule for all of our fan base. So every single Saturday from here on out, make sure to tune in. It'll probably be more around this midday time, so at least you guys know that. Now today we're going to start off, there's a lot of different things to talk about. Week 2 of the NFL happened. A lot of college football is going on. College football games going on right now live. Let's see. I have a couple big names in the sports world either trying to leave their team or being cut from their team and going to different teams. And then we have a really weird situation where nobody can cook a football through a goalpost. So throughout all of that, we're going to be talking about that. Where do you want to start off today, Nikki?
You want to start with the college football because it's happening right now?
Yeah, let's start there because it's happening live. Now, top 25, it's definitely an interesting subject this year. Mickey, who do you think is being left out of there throughout the first couple weeks that belongs on that?
I mean, I know Arizona State lost to, I think it was San Diego State, but I still think that they're a very good team. I mean, they beat Michigan State. Like, that's impressive itself. I think that they should still be up there. I know, who do they play this week? I think they play someone. They play a cupcake team today, but I think that they can at least be back in the top 25. What about you?
Okay. Not even with a bias at all. I really do think that North Carolina State should be on the 25. If you look at any of the teams that are listed on there, right now, currently number 25 is Boston College, and right now number 25 Boston College is getting blown out 30-7. So I think they're a little overrated. I think that if NC State would have had the chance to play West Virginia last week, they would have won and they'd be on this top 25. But Hurricane Florence, safety comes first, especially over sports. So they weren't able to play. But I think if whenever that matchup does happen, then they'll end up being in the top 25. Very good team on both sides of the ball. Very underrated. Some team that I think is still being slept on, and again, if you look at it, they're the only other team other than Alabama and who was it? It was Alabama, Oklahoma State, and some other team that they're scoring. They're average. Mississippi State. All those three teams are averaging more than 50 points per game and keeping opponents to under 17 points per game. That's dominance. And so all two of those teams getting a little bit slept on. Mississippi State is 14. Oklahoma State's 15. Realistically, I think that both of those should be near the 9-10 spot or even in that top 10. And then who are a couple teams that you think are a little overrated in the top 25
Overrated.
right now?
Let me pull up the rankings. Overrated. I mean, I don't think Oregon's good. I don't think Michigan's very good.
Okay.
Who did Michigan lose to? They got blown out. Who was it?
Blown out?
Yeah, I think it was week 1.
They didn't get blown out, but they lost to Notre Dame by 7.
They lost by Notre Dame, yeah, okay. But it seemed like they got dominated.
It did.
Yeah, it did. Other than that, I think everything else is pretty good.
Really? Because I think the team you just mentioned, it keeps bothering me because I know they're only there because of their name, but Notre Dame has done nothing to impress anybody this year. They beat a Michigan team that's still very weak on the offensive side of the ball. They weren't in a good rhythm. They had started off just cold this year, and I don't think they're going to do anything much. So their best win is against a mediocre Michigan team at best. All right, they barely beat. Oh my goodness, who did they play last week? Vanderbilt, yeah, barely beat Vanderbilt. Their week 2 opponent, I don't even know their name. That's how small of a school they were. But they barely beat them. This is a team that keeps squeaking out these very small margin victories and is still ranked in the top 10, people. How is this happening? They're not beating top 10 worthy teams. This is a 15, 16 at best team. They're not that great on the offensive side of the ball. The fact that they can't even choose a starting quarterback shows that the consistency just isn't there. That's why they're only scoring in the teens and 20s. This team is not built to play other top 10 teams and survive. If they played, for instance, an Oklahoma or a Penn State, they'd get blown out by 30 plus because they just don't have the offensive firepower to keep up. And if you don't have that, there's no reason why you should be in the top 10. I get it. They have a good defense. You could say great defense, but it's still really young. I don't like their secondary that much. This is not a top 10 team. How it's number 8, that's a shame. Definitely should not be that high. Another team that I think they're okay, but I also don't think they should be where they're at is number 12, Washington. They lost to Auburn. I get it. That was a close game. I'm not saying that it should knock them down the rankings that they have gone down. But realistically, they play in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is one of the easiest conferences in the USA. They're going to be playing teams that are in a rebuilding phase or just mediocre. They're not going to be playing, like I just said, you need to have a good resume with at least a couple top 25 opponents throughout your schedule to really garner a top 10 ranking or a top 15 ranking. And Washington doesn't do that for me. I think they're more of a late teens team. Now, Wisconsin, I know, didn't do well last week, but I think, again, 16 is really low for them. If you flip-flop Wisconsin and Washington, I think that'd make more sense to me. Wisconsin at 12, Washington at 16, but that's just my opinion. Is there nobody else that you think is a little underrated or overrated on this list?
I think underrated, yeah, Syracuse. Syracuse demolished Florida State, if I'm not mistaken. I know they got some votes here I'm looking at, but they're undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at. I'm pretty sure they're undefeated. I'm not a big Syracuse. I don't follow them, but let's see. Okay. I know they're undefeated, but I know their big win is Florida State, which I know is not really saying much, but again, Syracuse, what more can you expect? They're more of a basketball school. But other than that, that's what I think.
Texas A&M's a little slept on too. I mean, if you look at their schedule, they have 2 quality wins. They barely lost to. Is Clemson number 2 right now? I think they're number 2. Yeah. Barely lost to number 2 Clemson. Now think about this. If, for instance, the coaches poll and the AP poll, they really tend to favor. For some reason, they always tend to favor like SEC East Coast schools.
Yes.
If you look at it, West Virginia, for instance, they're rated number 13 right now in the coaches poll, and Texas A&M is 22. Right. Texas A&M barely lost to the number 2 team. If West Virginia barely lost to Clemson, they'd be in the top 10, maybe even top 8. But somehow Texas A&M is 22. I think TAMU, they're a little bit slept on. At least should be a low teens team, if not a high teens. But yeah, that's another team that's a little slept on. Not the biggest Miami fan this year. I believe that ranking's pretty accurate. Number 20, they kind of took a step back this year, at least on the defensive side. Michigan, like I said, is mediocre. They probably still belong there, but nothing special. Not national title. And, Boise State, I was actually really disappointed with them. I get it. They have a really high-scoring offense, but they didn't play the greatest defenses to open up their season. And then they played Oklahoma State. Now, again, their defense has improved, but still, I think they only had, I don't know the exact score, but it was like the high teens or early 20s score compared to like their higher 40 scores before that. They kind of disappointed me. And I get it, Oklahoma State's a great team, but they didn't show the offensive firepower that they can have. So I believe they really don't deserve to be on the ranking sheet this week. It should at least be a team that surprised people. Like I saw Kentucky had the majority of votes when it came to others receiving votes.
They beat
Florida. Yeah, it was a good win. But again, Florida's not a top 25 opponent, so I don't know if they belong there. But yeah, so a lot of different teams can be on there. I think they don't have it right yet, but by the time later weeks come into the fold, you'll see a more stable poll where we don't see as much movement, and it's really just a couple slots. Like maybe 3 or 4 at most. But yeah, so those are just our takes on the top 25. Are there any games going on right now where you're really surprised by the score other than the Boston College game?
I think that's it.
That's it, right? For the most part, they're going as I'd expect. I'm a little surprised that Nebraska's getting beat as bad as they are because it is Michigan. But Nebraska's offense isn't there yet. It's only Frost's first year. Give it a couple more years to Frost, he'll be pretty good. Something else, though, that we're going to talk about college football is how all the new coaches are doing horribly.
I mean, the only one's doing good is Arizona State's Herm Edwards, which I don't think anyone predicted. I think everyone thought Chip Kelly would have done even better than him, and there was another one. You know who else has been actually awful? Willie Taggart of Florida State.
That's what I was going to talk about.
I know everyone. There's actually GoFundMe's that are saying let's buy him out already. But again, it's 4 weeks?
Yeah.
No, actually not even. It's 3 weeks. Calm down. I mean, I know that it's not what you're expecting Florida State, but it's like a rebuild year for you. You're going under a new coach, and I think Other than that, they should just wait him out. What about you?
Like you just said, Willie Taggart. I get it where you're saying it's a rebuild year, but if I'm a Florida State fan, last year should have been our rebuild year. It's kind of when you're so used to winning like Florida State is, to have an off year with your previous head coach and then have to go through a horrible year through your new head coach, it's a struggle when you're so used to winning. The thing about Willie Taggart is he did leave Oregon, which I thought was a great opportunity for him, and I think he was going to actually do something with that team to go to his dream job at Florida State. I get it. I get why he'd go. It's a great program. But he doesn't seem ready for it. He just seemed like he went there because he wanted – it seems like somebody who left their career to go to a different industry. They liked it. There's potential for them there, but they get cold feet after they've already committed to it and then head right back to where they were at just because they're comfortable there. But he took on such a big-name program, he just wasn't ready. He just went back there because it was Florida and the Florida atmosphere, and he was a good recruiting ground for him before, but he wasn't ready for the Florida State stage. I get rebuild years. They happen, but even during a rebuild year, when you have as many 5-stars as Florida State does, you should at least be getting 5 to 6 wins even in a rebuilding year. Has one so far. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. He should be doing better. I understand how they didn't win week 1, but the fact that they just lost the past week, that's really sad. So he's not doing well. Chip Kelly's 0-3 he's 0-3, right?
Yep.
Yeah, at UCLA. I don't now that start compared to Willie Taggart, people could say Chip Kelly's actually worse because he is the better coach. But if you look at it, Kelly has none of his players. He has no relationships with those players. Hasn't been in the NCAA in years. So there's no reason for him to even have that great of a connection with them and be winning anything worthwhile this year. It's understandable that he's 0-3. Now Taggart went back to Florida State because he was so used to Florida. He knew almost all those, even if he didn't get them to USF, he knew almost all those players going to Florida State from recruiting them before. So he has relationships established with the players he has. He should be winning ball games. The fact that he's not is a lot more surprising than the fact that Chip Kelly's not. Other coaches aren't doing well. Scott Frost. Well, I think he's the same case as Chip Kelly, where it's not his players at all. But again, that is no excuse. He just came from a team that UCF that claimed a national championship last year. They were really good. And he took almost all of his assistant coaches too. So great staff, but just underwhelming results. Now, I can't think of his name, but he went from SMU to Arkansas. Chad Morris. He is very disappointing. They're not doing very well this year.
North Texas.
Yes, they're not doing very well this year. So those guys are bigger disappointments than Chip Kelly in my eyes. But so yeah, if you look at Chad Morris and then Willie Taggart, very, very disappointing how these first-year head coaches are doing. Moving on to the next subject, though. Now we'll go from college to professional. Week 2, what'd you like about it?
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, obviously Fitzmagic again. Yeah, week 2 again, double it up. You think he's gonna do well in week 3?
They play Steelers, but I had this thing on the website called Mixed Picks where I pick like my winners, and I actually have them losing, even though I've had them losing every game so far. It's kind of run out at some point, right? And I know the Steel Curtain doesn't have the best defense, but I don't know why. I feel like Big Ben finally has that fire under him to finally get a win because they're technically 0-2, but they have one tie to the Browns.
Yeah.
But I think that they finally get it going there. And I know apparently though Mike Tomlin has lost the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
But I mean, I still think that they get it done against Tampa. I think are they in Tampa actually?
They are in Tampa. Yes.
Yeah, I still think they get it done though.
I think, I honestly, I don't think this magic is going to run out until, I'm looking at it. I don't even really see a reasonable date. I could see them losing in week 4. If Fitz magic's going to end, it's going to end by Khalil Mack. Just sacking the hell out of Fitz magic, and then it's all over. All the magic picks he does that Ryan Fitzpatrick gets is gone once he's sacked 3 times by Khalil Mack in a game. Because that offensive line it's stepping up, but it's still not enough to stop Khalil Mack. There's no way, absolutely no way that Fitzmagic ends this week. If somehow the Steelers D shuts down Fitzmagic, I will be thoroughly surprised. The Steelers are a hot mess. The worst mess in football in my eyes. I think, honestly, I am not surprised by it because I don't like the personalities on that team. But if you're looking at a dumpster fire in terms of an organization right now, currently, the Steelers are the worst in the NFL. Well, that exists. Like, the Buffalo Bills are horrible. Like,
But everyone's expecting it.
exactly. And also, at least they know, we're not going to get wins. We're just trying to build a culture. All right, that explains why your culture is so faulty because you're still trying to build it. Same with Arizona. But the Steelers are the worst in the NFL. They have the talent. They have the abilities. But because of ego and just personality, they aren't winning. And it starts with the head coach. Mike Tomlin shouldn't have started the season as Steelers head coach. He should have been let go last year. This ownership loves to keep continuity with the head coach. I like that, but it's time for a change there. Tomlin isn't getting the job done. The players don't respect him enough, at least not the star players. And there needs to be a change. I either fire Tomlin or trade Brown. Those are the two options in my eyes. You either trade Antonio Brown and show we're not putting up with this anymore. No matter how talented you are, there's a Juju Smith-Schuster we can draft that's going to replace you. All right, that needs to be the message if you're going to keep Tomlin. And if you aren't, then say, hey, these are our star players. We're sticking by them. We need a coach that's going to keep them in line, not going to put up with any attitudes. Come to work every single day, put in your best, win ball games. It needs to be one of those paths. There is no middle ground. If they continue middle ground, they're going to stay in the middle ground of the NFL, and that's mediocrity. Nobody wants to be there. So they have to choose one of those paths soon. If I'm the Steelers, it is so hard to find as an elite receiver, so it'd be tough because I'd want to go just find a new head coach, but I know it's also really hard because there's such a lack of good head coaches out there right now. I might be more willing to trade away Brown and just get more picks if I find them at this point. But it's a hard decision, but it's a decision they have to make. But yeah, they're horrible. So that's why I don't think that defense and that organization as a whole is stopping Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic's going to go and light into that defense. And honestly, I think if any single player in the NFL can make the Steelers go from, we're going to get past this to we need to blow this thing up, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick going for another 300-plus yards on them. I think that'd be very hilarious to see Fitzpatrick doing this and the Steelers blow it up after this. But yeah, I don't think it ends this week. That was a very long explanation as to why.
It was a very long explanation. What about Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, amazing. Between him and Baker Mayfield, I think that the NFL is in good hands for the next 15 years. I'm not going to go. I promised some people I wouldn't over-exaggerate about Baker Mayfield anymore in public on the podcast. But in private, DM me, and we'll talk about Baker Mayfield. Because this guy, whoo! Oh, man, I can't go into it because Mickey's going to get mad. But all I can say is, since he brought up Mahomes, we're looking at Pat Mahomes and Baker Mayfield, two of the best new gunslingers this league's going to see. It's refreshing because if you look at the NBA, like LeBron James is a star, and there's not currently a young star that you really see being that great to take over the mantle. Like there's Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant's going to be retiring only a couple years after LeBron. There's Giannis, which is true. There's also Ben Simmons. Yeah. But neither one of them are at that level yet. So it's not like they're ready to take over the mantle. But yeah, I think if you're talking about Giannis and you're talking about Ben Simmons in the NBA, the Giannis and Ben Simmons of the NFL are now Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield. Right there. Yep, right there. I think those two are going to be – because you look at like – you're always thinking, well, is Tom Brady going to leave this year? But if Tom Brady leaves, who takes over? I get it. You could say Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is getting up there too. And he's probably not – he's not going to want to play until he's 40. So once those two are gone, who's the best? Who's the best young quarterback if Brady and Rodgers are gone today, right now?
Young.
Yeah. Who's not going to be retiring in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Who's taking over that? There's none. So the only ones the ones who have the chance to do it are this year's draft class and Mahomes. Because Trubisky's not doing it. No. God, I don't know if you guys watch Bears games. He doesn't throw it deep. Alex Smith 2.0, except not as efficient. So, what is there? There's Mahomes and there's Mayfield. Pick your poison. If you don't like gunslingers, too bad. That's the way the NFL's going.
Luck gets hurt all the time.
It's not even that. I had faith in him going into this season, and he has disappointed me up until this point. I get it. It's still a lot of rust, but I don't know if he'll ever go back to that form that he was at. And it's the same way with Cam. Cam's also already 27. So, and with the way he plays, I don't think that guy's playing till he's 35. So
he's 29.
29. Wow. Well, we're talking about people who are in their early 20s or mid 20s that are going to be faces at the end of it. Watson's overrated. Well, Watson's not.
He couldn't beat the Titans last week.
It's not even the wins per se. It's how he's been playing, and he has not been playing efficient enough football as a quarterback, especially in the pocket. So, yeah.
Mayfield's 23.
Mayfield's 23, and then I believe Mahomes is 22 or 23 too. So yeah, those guys are the guys I see being the stars for the next 10, 12 years.
Mahomes is 23 as well.
23 as well. Yeah, so those two guys are the guys I see taking over. Is that Goff?
Yeah.
Goff. I'm not going to say Goff's not elite, but we also can't kid ourselves and pretend like McVay is not a very big part to Goff, as a very big catalyst to Goff's success. Like, if Garoppolo ends up being elite, a lot of it will fall on Shanahan. It's a lot about who you have around you, which is why it's amazing that Baker Mayfield had the game he had with Hugh Jackson as his head coach. The fact that the man is now saying he doesn't know who the starting quarterback is for next week is asinine. Like,
stupid.
What? How can you still say after he wins you your first game and you haven't been able to win your first game in 2 years? I don't know. I don't know yet. Like that, no. Please, no. So the fact that that's why I'm so hyped about Mayfield, guys, it's not because of his stats. He didn't throw a touchdown. I get it. He's a quarterback and he didn't throw a touchdown. Mahomes already has 10 in 2 weeks. I get it. But Mahomes has Andy Reid. Mayfield has Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson is an offensive coordinator. He is not a head coach. So that's why I'm so baffled by what Mayfield did just the other night. Because
someone said Darnold. I'm going to read you Darnold's stats right now.
I'm sorry. No.
By game. Lions, 76 completion percentage. That's pretty good. 198 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Not bad.
Rating 116. That's good.
Yeah.
First Dolphins, 61 completion percentage. 334 yards. Very good. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. 74 in the ratings. At the Browns, 48% completions. 169 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 38.2 QB rating. His career stats, 60% completion. That's good. 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Now, granted, this is 3 games, guys, but you got to look at it like this. Out of the teams he's played, Lions defense, very disappointing. Not up to standards. Not even league average. The Dolphins defense, surprisingly mediocre. Everybody thought it was going to be trash, but surprisingly mediocre. But again, not that great. Now, the one defense he has played that is pretty good up until this point kept him to was it a 38 or was it a 48?
38.
A 38 passer rating. That's what he's going to be playing on a normal basis. That's what you should be getting used to. I'm sorry, I'm not bought into Darnold. I'm really not. The same turnovers that he always has had throughout his entire life are going to stick with him. And even if he gets the Jets to the playoffs, which he might in the next couple of seasons, they're not winning a championship under him unless they can add even more pieces of that defense and it just be a Legion of Boom. This isn't happening with Darnold. I'm sorry. He's like a Matt Stafford. He's not winning anything important.
I think it's time for Rosen time in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
And believe me, I live there.
Yeah.
So that's the only game I get.
Mhm.
And I see Bradford hasn't thrown 1 touchdown yet.
No.
Bradford.
They haven't scored a touchdown.
Yeah, no, they did. David Johnson.
Oh, that's right. But other
Garbage
than that, yeah.
Where was I at? Yeah. Bradford hasn't scored. He has 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. That's pretty pathetic.
Horrible.
On top of that, last week against the Rams, granted, very good defense, he didn't get the ball to the 50-yard line until 15 seconds left in the game.
Mhm.
That is pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible? I think I could have done better.
We talk about the Bills being the worst team in football, and they are.
I think it's... No, I don't
No.
think so.
The Bills are. Because if the Arizona Cardinals played the Bills, David Johnson would single-handedly win them the game. But, my goodness, Arizona. If you're going to tank, you did it right. Because this team is hot garbage. Like, my goodness. It's not that you're not feeding David Johnson because you're just running the game wrong. It's because you're tanking. Just admit it. Trade him away. But I get why you don't, because you need a centerpiece. But my goodness, this is bad. Like he said, they didn't get past the 50-yard line until the end of the game. Like, stop wasting Bradford's healthiness, right? Bradford's finally healthy, and now he's on the worst team of his life.
He has no offensive line.
Yeah. I'm a Bradford fan. If he was like, how he played for the Vikings last year is how Sam Bradford actually can play when he has a decent offense. This is not a decent offense. This is a D2 college offense that's passing as an NFL offense. Put in Rosen. Let's see what he can do. Let him at least just get a better vibe for the NFL. I think Rosen's more of a let me show you what I can do and learn on the spot. Meanwhile, Darnold's more of a let me sit, learn behind a veteran, and cut down on my turnovers inside of practice. So I don't think Rosen's a good practice player. I think you need to put him out on the field, let him compete with these other rookies, see what he can do, get that confidence up, because Rosen's the best when he's confident. If he's on the bench, he can't be confident. He can, but not to his max ability. So let him play, because that's a hot garbage out there. Trade Bradford to a team that could use him. Like, Bradford's an A1 backup. If I had Sam Bradford as my backup, I'm happy. Yeah. So any team would trade a third, fourth rounder for him. Just trade him away, because you're wasting any talent that he has having him start for you guys. It's pathetic. But what else are we gonna talk about in the college? Josh Gordon. So he went to the Patriots.
Great.
What can we say?
I mean, he's gonna be very good. I hope he just gets his life in order. I think he will.
But first and foremost, let's hope that he gets his life in order. We don't want him to, relapse. That's obviously number one. But even a little bit before that, or tied, is the fact that your boys called it. So, yeah, good stuff. Okay, guys, I get it. Freezing cold takes on Twitter. I don't know if anybody ever reads what they have. It's pretty funny. But they specifically said, we're not giving credit to anybody who said that Gordon's going to the Patriots because it wasn't a bold prediction. Now, okay, I get that. But can I retaliate and say it was kind of bold because every single major outlet said it wasn't happening. And on top of that, every local outlet in New England said that sources said it wasn't happening, all right? So how is that not bold to go against sources within the Patriots' own organization and say, no, even though they're saying it's not, that's a front. They're gonna trade for Gordon, which is what I thought. I really did. I was like, they're playing this how the Patriots would play it, but no. Every single local outlet said 0% chance. NBC, Fox, Boston said there's no way Josh Gordon goes to the Patriots, and if he does, it's a horrible move. Now, if it's a horrible move is yet to be determined, but it did happen because that's how the Patriots play their game. The fact that most outlets couldn't understand that's just like baffling. They've been doing this for 15 years. How do you not understand it by now? But I don't think it's that much of a risk. Trade away a 6th rounder or 5th rounder. No. It's not. Like, who cares? Okay, it's not going to be anything. Belichick doesn't even draft well. Okay, they got Josh Gordon. He's worth it. A lot of people don't think it's going to be a resurgence for him. I don't think it'll be a Randy Moss type resurgence, but we could see, 6-7 touchdowns. That's worth it. That's worth a 5th rounder any day of the week. 6-7 touchdowns, a couple hundred yards. Not going to crack a K, but a couple hundred, 6-7. Maybe catches 1 or 2 in the playoffs to sway a couple games. Enough to make it
difference maker.
Enough to make a difference and re-energize that New England offense. Because let's face it, it's not what it's been the past couple years, and that defense is the worst it's been in a decade. So this team isn't winning without a resurgence or without just some type of, difference maker, and that's what Josh Gordon can be. And I think he will be. Yeah. I don't think he catches that many touchdowns, but he's going to do something this year, which is more than he was doing on the Browns for the past 2 years. So very interesting move. Definitely very Patriots-like. Also, an issue going on in the NFL right now. I don't know if you guys have been watching the games, the kickers. Mickey, what do you think about the kickers? This is ridiculous. They keep missing.
Just specifically the old Browns kicker keeps missing, and the old Vikings kicker. I'm so disappointed in that Browns kicker. You should be
Zane Gonzalez.
But I'm just gonna say, actually no, you should be 2-0. It's actually kind of his fault on both of them. Kick got blocked in the first one. That's understandable. That happens, and I think. Because this is what happened with the Chargers last year. They had a kick block, the very first kick to win the game, and it kind of derailed.
It derailed the whole season.
Like his confidence, the kicker's confidence. Yeah. And I know because I'm a Chargers fan. Okay, anyways.
But those losses derailed your season.
Yeah, and then you go in. Who they play last week? The Saints. The Saints.
Uh-huh.
You missed 4 field goals. I mean, I'm gonna assume like his confidence just went down the drain after the block. But I mean, how is that possible? And they weren't very far. 30s, 40. I think I consider Long around 48.
None of them are that far.
Yeah, like
That's horrible.
It's sad.
It's a travesty how they
should be 3-0.
You're offering millions of dollars. There are NFL teams offering millions of US dollars to come play for them and kick a ball accurately through a goalpost. This is worldwide. They'll take anybody. We see Australian football, rugby players coming to play football. They'll take anyone. But nobody on the face of the earth can come and just kick. Like, there should be no reason why 32 human beings in the entire world can't kick a ball 40 plus yards or even 30 plus yards into a field goal. There should be no reason why they can't find 32, but somehow they can't. There's none in college that inspire me. So we'll see. But it's so sad. It's ruining games because teams deserve wins that they're not getting because kickers can't make their kicks. That's insane.
It's because they're trying to get cheap and they're taking the undrafted rookie or.
Well, it's not even that. There's no kickers that are free agents that are worth signing. Even the veterans aren't as good as they were. They're either aging or they're.
But he got
picked up by the Vikings. Like that, and he's the only one that was out there that was truly elite.
Yeah.
That was a kicker that for some reason wasn't signed because people wanted to save money. But other than that, there's nobody else. I really don't think there's anybody else out there. There was Ken Forbath. I think he's still available.
Yeah.
But he's
all right.
He's all right. He's good. But he'll miss a couple. And a couple, I mean, like some clutch ones. But we'll see. It's definitely a problem. You would think with all of the misses that colleges or high schools would be focusing a lot towards developing kickers, or that the NFL with all their money could work into kicking programs to develop their kickers. Like, how? Man, I just don't get it. I don't get how, with all this money being thrown around, there's not enough to just develop some legs, develop some just high-tech kicker out of a lab, like legit, just somebody who can kick a bomb from 60 yards out, still make it. How it hasn't happened yet just baffles me.
Breaking news just now: Vikings starting running back Dalvin Cook is out for the game against Buffalo, and his availability for
out.
Week 4 against the Rams is in doubt.
Oh, it's in doubt. Okay, well, he's been out of the game though.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's been
It doesn't matter. You play the Bills, you're gonna win.
Yeah, they're gonna win anyway.
You got Latavius Murray. That's a pretty solid backup.
Their fantasy team. I mean, their defense is probably gonna score like 20 plus fantasy points. It's probably one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL playing the second worst offense of the NFL. The worst is the Cardinals. But yeah, easy game. They could have him, Stephon Diggs, and probably 2 of their offensive linemen not playing still win that game because that's just how bad the Bills are. But yeah, cool. Other than that, in the NFL, we have the kicker scenario, the kicker problem, which is horrible. We have Josh Gordon. We have week 2. For the most part, other than Tampa Bay being 2-0, not many surprises.
Yeah,
Cincinnati, yeah, always in it, but never great. Same as this year.
The Vikings are 16.5 point favorites against the Bills. That's pretty funny.
I should be more than that. Yeah, not many surprises. I didn't think the Cardinals were going to be this bad.
Yeah, that's another surprise.
I didn't think the Saints would have lost the first game of the season, or that their defense would have taken that big of a step back, but they have. Yeah, so very interesting season. It's funny. I didn't buy into this past draft being the year of the quarterback. I really didn't buy the hype. I liked Mayfield a lot, obviously, as you guys can tell, but I wasn't too sold on the rest of the prospects. But honestly, I was wrong. I can proudly say that I was wrong, and this was by far, if you needed a quarterback and you didn't draft one, you were stupid, because this was the safest group of quarterbacks you could draft from.
The worst one's going to be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's probably the only one I'm not sold on. Even Josh Allen has impressed me to this point, because I'll tell you this, the Bills are horrible, so he's not going to come in and pull a Baker Mayfield to win him a game. But he has not looked as unraveled and as just misfit than I thought he would. I thought he was going to step into a live action game and just look like he didn't know what he was doing. And he is actually, he's thrown some interceptions, so he's not that accurate. But he's shown some great leadership qualities that are going to really help him out later in his career. And I think he's going to end up being an average, a good quarterback. So we'll see. This was definitely the year for teams that still need one that didn't pick one up. Sucks to suck, man, because these next couple of years are not looking good for the quarterback position. Still about 2-3 years from now when we're seeing the Clemson quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, when he's going to start coming out, Tua, when he comes out. Those some quarterbacks are going to be good NFL quarterbacks, but it's not going to happen for the next couple of years. So, yeah, that's about it for the NFL. Not many other big stories going on right now. The NBA, this just happened a couple days ago. Very juicy story. Jimmy Butler and the Timberwolves. Mickey, how about you start off with this topic?
I don't know if you heard what Colin Cowherd said. He said, if Jimmy Butler is your best player, you are not playing in May, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Butler's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's elite.
Yeah.
I think he's a top 20, maybe 25 player.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I respect him with the decision of teams that he wanted to go to, but again, why are you going to give up Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns for D'Angelo Russell in Brooklyn? Why are you going to give up those two for Patrick Beverly? It makes no sense to me other than that.
I respect it, though. He wants to be the top dog. I like that. I like that attitude. But, like you just said, he's a top 20 player, which I think is elite, but he's not winning a championship. No. Nobody's winning a championship. If you're an NBA team, your calendar should start in 2020. January 1st, 2020. That's a good day to be like, you know what? Show up then. We can skip the next 3 years. Just stay in shape. Come back on January 1st, 2020. We'll start playing again. Because nobody's beating the Warriors in the next 3 years.
Nope.
It's not happening. So there's no point in even playing. So for him, I get it. If the Warriors are going to be winning, if the Warriors exist, you're not winning, might as well go and be the top dog and get praise from the city you're in. So I fully understand as a player where Jimmy Butler's coming from. Now, a little bit of backstory. If you guys don't know, Jimmy Butler, you probably know him because he's a big name. Played for the Chicago Bulls, 30th pick in the draft. Was an orphan, went through foster care, grew up, became an NBA star, went to Marquette, barely got drafted in the first round. Amazing story if you have time to read into it. Builds his way up, has a great coach in Tom Thibodeau who really respected his hustle, respected his defense, ended up making him a star, right? Not making him a star, but helping him show that he is a star. Yep. Tom Thibodeau leaves. Fred Hoiberg comes in. Fred Hoiberg was a college coach from Iowa State, built a great offensive college, fast-paced, pace and space, gets hired by the Bulls, all right? So now this is like 4 or 5 years into Butler's career. Now he's playing for a pace and space coach. I'm not saying he doesn't fit pace and space, but Jimmy Butler is more of an ISO player and just a lockdown 3-and-D weapon, which can be useful in a 3-and-D in a pace and space lineup. But if you don't have the talent around to feed him the ball, it's not going to work, which is exactly what the Chicago Bulls had, which was no talent around him. The past couple of years, he had been struggling. The fit with Hoiberg wasn't really working out, but he was still putting up dominant numbers. Then Tom Thibodeau, previous coach, got hired by the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves immediately made a move because Jimmy Butler was not happy in Chicago, made a move for him with the risk of knowing his contract's only 2 more years, he could leave if he doesn't like it. Now, people thought he was going to stay because he really had a great relationship with Thibodeau. But the problem is the Timberwolves had 2 young stars, not stars, but 2 young building blocks in Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, who have been known for not having the best work ethic. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler has probably one of the top 5 work ethics in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So you bring that in to a locker room that isn't used to working hard. There's bound to be clashing, which is exactly what happened. Now, I get where the Timberwolves are coming from. They're going to stick with Towns. I would too. He's a transcendent young big man in the game, although he does have to work on his defense. So they didn't get along. Wiggins and Towns really did not strike a chord with Butler. Their relationship didn't work out. It's a year into it, and now Butler wants out. Here's where we are now. We've gotten to the point where Tom Thibodeau respects him too much to want to trade him. But the owners don't want to put up with him anymore. They want him gone. So now we're looking at probably more than likely both Thibodeau and Butler leaving by the end of this season. Because Thibodeau doesn't want to stick around with Butler, and Butler doesn't want to be there even with Thibodeau there. If Thibodeau leaves, they have to hire a coach in the next couple of weeks. That's not an easy transition. Nobody wants to have to do that, but if they have to, they will. And now the situation is he wants to go to teams where he's the alpha dog and he doesn't have to compete with Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, which he really isn't doing right now, but he just doesn't want to have to deal with their BS. So now he's asking to go to the Clippers, the Nets, or the Knicks. Stupid. Doesn't make sense. If you're on the Knicks, you're still second to Kristaps. I'm sorry, you might be a better player, but New York embraces Kristaps a lot more than they'll embrace Jimmy Butler. They love some Porzingis over there. The Nets, yeah, you'd be the top dog there, no question. The Clippers, same thing. As much fun as I will say Tobias Harris and Boban Marjanovic are, they're a really fun pairing. I don't know if you guys watch. They have like a little podcast thing called Bobby and Toby. It's really funny. It's really funny. You guys check that out. But so yeah, he wants to be the top dog somewhere. I really doubt they especially the owners are really tired of Jimmy Butler and is speaking out. So I don't think they will trade him to a team he wants to go to. I think we'll end up, honestly, it sounds weird, I know, but I think we end up seeing Jimmy Butler in a place like Charlotte, some place that nobody thought of that offers a pretty good package.
Like show.
Yeah. Like how Paul George went to the Thunder, you weren't expecting it, but it happened. Like, that's the type of package I see for Jimmy Butler. Because if you look at Charlotte, they want to win this year, right? They're willing to part with stuff to win this year. Mitch Kupchak, it'd look great on his resume if he could get a Jimmy Butler for pennies on the dollar because he only has 1 year left. If he loses them, he loses them, but at least he traded for him and had the nerve to do it. So if we see a trade package like a Malik Monk with a Malik Monk who's not bad, like a Lou Williams type, a young Lou Williams. So a Malik Monk and a Frank Kaminsky plus a first, maybe a first, protected first, for Jimmy Butler, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Why? Because think about it, guys. Think about this. All right? Who's the Timberwolves starting five right now? Jeff Teague. Butler, but that's an empty slot. We'll consider that empty. Wiggins, Taj Gibson, Karl Anthony Towns. What do you want next to Towns? You want to stretch for? What is Kaminsky's a stretch for? All right, that's a good fit. I'll take that. It's better than losing him for nothing. Now you need a shooting guard. Malik Monk. He can fill up the box score. He's a good outside shooter. What is Andrew Wiggins not? A great outside shooter. What is Jeff Teague not? A great outside shooter. If you put in those guys into their starting lineup, it's actually not a bad trade. So I definitely see something like that happening where they don't want to appease the Butler and trade him to a team that really wants him for a season. And maybe he just leaves Charlotte after the season because he probably would. But yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that situation because it's really funny. It's very dramatic. There's been a lot of pettiness going on. And if you guys look into it, it's just so stupid. But hopefully we'll see him moved by the beginning of the season because the last thing you want to see is like a Le'Veon Bell sit-out situation in the NBA. Stupid. Just stupid. But yeah. Anything else in the NBA? No, nothing much. Not a lot happening. Season hasn't started yet. It's really just football season right now.
Doesn't preseason start though? Monday?
Preseason actually did start, I think, yesterday.
Whatever, who cares?
I don't know. Probably Monday. I don't know. Yeah, who cares? Preseason.
Baseball. The Astros locked up a postseason spot. I think we all expected that. But again, I'm not high on the Astros. I think the Athletics are going to actually competing with the Yankees for the top spot in the wild card. I think they get it. I think they beat the Yankees, and I actually have them going really far because I really like that team, especially Chris Davis. He's just an animal. He has 45 home runs. That's pretty good. And I know there's actually, watch out, Triple Crown. If you guys don't know what that is, you have to lead the league in hits, home runs, and average. And the guy on the Red Sox, Victor Martinez, is only, I think, like 2 home runs away from tying Chris Davis of the A's, and I think that he actually might get there. Do the Dodgers make it far into the playoffs? Yes, the Dodgers are going to make it far into the playoffs. Why would you even say that? Who would they open up against? They'd probably open up against the Braves, who I think they could beat. And I see them losing maybe to the Cubs in the championship. I mean, I hope they don't, but I think that's going to happen. The Cubs are just too good, especially that offense and Javi Baez. Other than that.
Oh, I also meant to bring up, I think report came out today that Gordon Hayward's about to sign a multi-year deal with Nike. I think that's my most improved player of the year favorite right now is Gordon Hayward. People forget how good he was when he left Utah. This guy's elite. Definitely one of the top 6, 7 small forwards in the league. So definitely, if you're looking to make some bets going into this season, Gordon's a pretty good pick for the most improved player.
Yeah, forgot about that. Mm-hmm. That's devastating what happened to
him. Fultz, you're looking at some guys.
Lonzo.
Well, nah. I think honestly, this is one of the better years for the most improved player race. You're looking at Kawhi Leonard, Gordon Hayward, and Markelle Fultz. That's pretty good. That's some talented group right there. So definitely, that's going to be one of the most tightly contested races this year. So definitely look for the most improved player award.
Are you done?
Yeah, I don't really think there's much to talk about else. There's college football. I don't know if you want to do an update of.
Want to do an update of the scores?
Yeah, I mean, there's not. Let's see, it's loading in right now. Fantasy football. We can talk about that. Oh, there's not much to
He's
talk about.
0-2.
I am. We've talked about that. I am 0-2. But I will tell you this. I'm about to get my first win of the season tomorrow. Jarvis Landry scored 16 for me. I'm still projected to lose by 10. But I'm not. I guarantee you tomorrow is my first win of the season. So look out for that. I'll give you an update on Monday. But yeah. Fantasy football. You guys have seen all my articles. I've mainly covered it with all the articles I put out. There's a lot of sleepers that are still on the waiver wire. Keelan Cole, Philip Lindsay.
What's that running back for the Niners?
The Niners? Oh, Matt Breida. That's who I picked up.
Uh-huh.
So Philip Lindsay's a great name to pick up, as well as Breida. Let's see. There's a couple other guys. But again, just watch out for your waiver wire. See if any names fall. I saw a guy in our league pick up Philip Lindsay. I was like, cool, that's a great move. Dropped him for, who was it? Latavius Murray, which proved how stupid he is and why he got a D- in my grade. So don't. If you pick up Philip Lindsay, the only reason why you should be getting rid of him is if you trade him away for something. Don't cut him for somebody like Latavius Murray. Horrible move. But yeah, just check up on your waiver wire. Follow Cal's tips when it comes to trading and waiver wire. You guys will be fine. And we'll give you an update on our league in a couple days when I get my first W. But yeah, everything else I think we covered. Again, look out every single Saturday, even when he's back in Arizona. We will be having a Cal's Call podcast. We will figure out a time to give you guys every single Saturday, but it will be on Saturdays. So make sure to check up on all of our latest articles, news, and podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Podbean, right here, Periscope, Spotify, all that good stuff. We're all over the place. We're getting bigger each and every day, and thank you guys for your support. When we make it big, we will somehow find a way to track you guys all down and get you t-shirts. But for right now, thank you for tuning in. I'm Joseph Callamore.
I'm Mickey Flynn.
And this is Cal's Call.
For all the latest and breaking news, podcasts, and live streams, make sure to check out Cal's Call on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope.